Today we are going to recap a mystery drama movie from 2006, where we can see Ben Affleck wearing a Superman outfit, which we never thought he would. This is what every Hollywood actor is facing back in the day and still are now. So sit back and enjoy as we dwell on this true story. Hello, and welcome to I.M. Movies. The movie unfolds amidst the vibrant backdrop of Los Angeles, a city pulsating with life and intrigue. Detectives descend upon a house, its blue facade concealing a shocking truth. The lifeless body of George Reeves lies motionless.
Looked like a damn fool.
He was an actor whose star once blazed brightly as he embodied the legendary Superman in the beloved television series Adventures of Superman. A single bullet, a cruel instrument of death, has extinguished George's promising future, while the official narrative declares it a suicide.
Coroner's ruling it indicated suicide.
Doubt gnaws at the conscience of one determined officer. The following day, he seeks out Louis Sinmo,
We did check into that.
a weathered private detective, and imparts crucial information that could unravel the mysteries surrounding George's untimely demise. Intrigued by the mysterious circumstances enveloping Reeves' death, Sinmo delves deeper into the perplexing case. He rendezvous vows with his partner, who unveils a compelling figure in the narrative,
That actor who shot himself, the one who plays Superman.
the grieving mother, Helen Besselo.
You work for Mr. Harris?
Helen firmly believes her son's death was not self-inflicted, casting doubt on the individuals present at George's residence on that fateful night, particularly Tony Mannix, his lover. Although the police have closed the case, Helen's unwavering conviction propels Sinmo into action. He vows to reopen the investigation, guided by an unyielding determination to uncover the truth. Journeying to the morgue where George's lifeless form rests, Sinmo's keen eye discerns telltale marks upon the pale canvas of the deceased, promising a path toward revelation. Who was George Reeves? The story transports us back to the night George first encountered the captivating Tony Mannix.
I were awfully well trained, Mr.
Amidst a lavish Hollywood party teeming with glamorous guests and whispered conversations, George's gaze fixates on a mesmerizing woman across the room. Radiant and sophisticated, Tony Mannix exudes an irresistible blend of power and allure. Their initial encounter blossoms into a whirlwind of indulgence and seduction, immersing George and Tony in a world of desire. Yet, as the dawn breaks, George's eyes skim the newspaper, revealing the truth, a truth he hastily overlooks, that Tony is married to a prominent MGM executive. Nevertheless, their shared aspirations forge a pact, as George envisions Tony's guidance propelling him to greater heights within the cutthroat Hollywood industry.
Tell me what you want.
Returning to the present, Sinmo continues his relentless pursuit of justice. Progress unfolds gradually, offering glimmers of hope. Word reaches him that George's will is to be read, drawing Sinmo to the courtroom, where a startling revelation awaits. George's entire estate, his worldly possessions, are bequeathed solely to Tony Mannix, leaving nothing for his devoted fiancée. Sinmo attempts to console the devastated young lady, but sorrow eclipses her soul as she retreats, consumed by grief. The narrative takes us back to George's time on Earth, where a pivotal meeting with Tony's husband unfolds. Through this encounter, Tony expertly persuades her husband to secure lucrative land, revealing the fractured dynamics of their relationship. In George's eyes, a flicker of fear dances, conscious of the dangers that lurk beneath the surface. Returning to Sinmo's investigation, a poignant scene emerges featuring Evan, George's sorrowful son. Evan's despair mirrors Sinmo's determination, as the detective's ex-wife, Lori,
Keeping busy?
alerts him to the young boy's turbulent behavior. Rushing to their side, Sinmo bears witness to a heartbreaking sight. The Superman costume, once a cherished emblem, consumed by the flames of anguish. Tormented by the belief that his father succumbed to self-inflicted tragedy, Evan resists Sinmo's attempts at solace. Amidst their tense exchange, simmering anger threatens to shatter the delicate balance, only diffused by Laurie's timely intervention. Following a night with his lover, Sinmo embarks on a clandestine mission, escorting George's mother to the crime scene. Hungry for sensation, the media descends upon the location, capturing poignant images that will shape the narrative. Sinmo points out unsettling details, raising doubts about the official version of events. The absence of fingerprints on the gun and the prolonged delay before contacting authorities paint a portrait of murder rather than suicide. Mrs. Bessolo, gripped by grief, bears witness to a soul-shaking truth. Before departing, Sinmo's perceptive gaze fixates on a cryptic hole, an ominous symbol etched into the room's foundation. Meanwhile, Mr. Mannix
His daughter picked you.
grapples with the arduous task of finding a replacement for George. A visit from his lawyer reveals the storm brewing around Sinmo's involvement in the case, prompting cautious preparation for potential inquiries. The lawyer, burdened by secrets, pledges to check on Tony, a woman who has languished in bed, engulfed by her private anguish. In the next sequence, Simo seeks a confidant of George's fiancée, who was at the crime scene. He interrogates her about the mysterious hole, desperately hoping to unravel its significance. Yet the crux of his inquiry revolves around the agonizing passage of time before the authorities were alerted. Miss Lemon claims shock as the culprit, explaining that George ascended the stairs, succumbing to self-inflicted tragedy. While conversing with Miss Lemon's husband, Simo uncovers a disconcerting truth. Lemon knew George would never marry her. A seed of suspicion germinates in Simo's mind, conjuring a harrowing theory. Was it Miss Lemon who extinguished George's light? A vivid reconstruction of events unfolds within the confines of the house, where simmering tensions between George and Miss Lemon ignite. Climbing the stairs entangled in a fatal struggle for the gun, tragedy strikes as a single bullet tears through George's skull. But is Simo's theory destined to become a reality? Stepping into the dwelling where the tragedy unfolded, Simo discovers Miss Lemon amidst a plunder of George's belongings. Unfazed by Simo's intrusion, she combs through the remnants of a life, driven by the notion that George possessed untold riches. Bereft of concrete evidence and constrained by his position as a mere private detective, Simo reluctantly allows her to depart, silently vowing to maintain a watchful eye.
I'm gonna be on you, Miss Lemon.
The following day, Simo shares the progress of his investigation with Mrs. Pesolo, unveiling a tantalizing glimpse of justice on the horizon. Garnering media attention and poised to reopen the case, Simo implores Mrs. Pesolo to provide further funds, an investment in unraveling the truth that could redeem her son's legacy. Within this conversation, George's broken engagement to Miss Lemon surfaces, accentuating the animosity harbored by Mrs. Pesolo towards the woman she deemed unworthy of her son's love. With each revelation, George's complex existence becomes more entwined. Was he truly content embodying the iconic Superman? The answer resounds with a resounding no. George's portrayal of the superhero merely appeased Tony Mannix, his desire for transcendence beyond the boundaries of a single character unquenchable. The news of Kellogg purchasing the film, with families nationwide tuning in, would typically ignite jubilation. Yet, George's heart remains untouched by the adoration of schoolchildren, leaving a perplexing question in its wake. Why would such a beloved actor choose to end his own life? It is a question that Simo yearns to answer, to peel back the layers and expose the truth that lies hidden beneath the glittering facade. As the drama of Superman unfolds, children revel in their idol's on-screen heroics. However, amidst the laughter and applause, one child dares to approach George, clutching a loaded weapon.
Can I shoot you?
Fear courses through George's veins, yet he averts a tragedy that looms like a specter in the shadows through skillful persuasion. Amid their heated disagreement, Simo and Tony found themselves locked in a battle of wills. It was a clash of desires, with George caught in the crossfire, yearning for something more. The incident involving a child convinced Tony that George needed a gun for protection. It was clear that Tony's motives stemmed from a possessive need to control George's life, unaware of the profound impact her actions would have. Amidst a grand celebration in George's honor, the air crackled with anticipation. Tony and her husband engaged in animated conversation about George's meteoric rise to fame in the industry. Just as they were about to raise their glasses in a toast, George's attention was abruptly stolen by the presence of a captivating lady. It was Miss Lemon, a renowned actress in the industry. As a relative of George's, Tony felt justified in her concern, didn't she? Driven by curiosity, Simo decided to visit the Mannix family. However, his attempts to meet Mrs. Mannix were met with stern resistance. Unbeknownst to Simo, a mysterious lawyer warned him against tarnishing the family's name with his investigation. Undeterred, Simo left an intriguing message, expressing his unwavering determination to meet Mrs. Mannix at George's funeral.
Hope to see you at the funeral.
Regrettably, Mrs. Mannix was conspicuously absent from the somber affair, sending their lawyer as a representative instead. Sensing the need to ignite public interest, Simo knew he had to provide the media with something sensational. He unveiled the near-fatal incident George had experienced, brushed off as an accident with little attention. Simo's audacious plan was to entangle the revered MGM family in the unfolding case. Despite the lawyer's attempt to sway him with a job offer, Simo steadfastly declined. A personal stake drove his relentless pursuit, ensuring he wouldn't back down until he unraveled the truth. Returning to George's life on Earth, he was confronted with a harsh reality. He had become synonymous with Superman, his true identity overshadowed by the iconic character he portrayed. The revelation left him disheartened, yearning to break free from the confines of the gray and red costume. As the old saying goes, a stubborn fly follows the corpse to the grave. Simo embodied this adage. His ambition and the ire he provoked compelled him to keep the case alive against the wishes of those who sought closure. While his adversaries yearned for an end, Simo's relentless propagation ensured the story would persist, unraveling layer by layer. Simo's unwavering determination attracted danger to his doorstep. He was violently attacked and left unconscious, but was eventually roused by Kit, who offered her assistance in the case. Aware of the hazardous nature of the murder, Simo urged her to step back. The true culprits were willing to go to any lengths to conceal their tracks, eliminating anyone who posed a threat. As Kit departed, Simo stumbled upon a crucial clue, a discarded cigar left by his assailant, providing a glimpse into the possible identity of the person. The next day, he burst into the coffee shop like a whirlwind, turning it into a battleground of chaos. Mr. Rick, somehow connected to the MGM, found himself amid this storm, facing a day of hell. Simo received an urgent call demanding his immediate attention. Rushing to the scene, he stumbled upon a horrifying discovery. Miss Lemon's friend had been brutally murdered by Art Weissman, George's manager. The crime was gruesome, but not a mystery, as Weissman was apprehended. It appeared that George and Weissman had shared a close bond while George was alive. George had confided in Weissman about quitting the iconic Superman character and pursuing something new in New York. This news didn't sit well with Tony, who desired nothing more than to keep George by her side. However, George's mind was made up. Before leaving, though, he indulged in a passionate farewell with Tony. Simo, tenacious as ever, refused to give up. A call from Miss Lemon revealed a shocking secret about Mrs. Besselow and her son. Simo hurried to Mrs. Besselow's house, only to find her preparing for a journey. She informed him she no longer required his services, as her son was promised a statue in front of the Chinese theater. This revelation made Simo realize that Mrs. Besselow didn't care about her son. As for Simo himself, he cared deeply, urging her to keep her money.
Keep your goddamn check.
Now, let's delve into how George crossed paths with Miss Lennon. Their encounter took place at a wild party in New York. Lennon, an audacious woman, approached George, and they shared a passionate moment right from their first meeting. George fell in love with her and confessed his feelings to Tony, who helped him rise to fame. But how would Tony react to the news of him being smitten by another woman? Anger consumed Tony, and George grew tired of her controlling his life. She believed he was only suited for the Superman role and only a little else.
That was the best you were ever going to be.
After all, if he were talented beyond that, why hadn't he gained popularity before she intervened? Yet, Lennon held sway over George. She enticed him into a life of parties and excess, constantly asking him for money. George, about to begin directing his movie, saw no reason not to act like a director and indulge Lennon's desires. One fateful night, Eddie received a call from his lawyer, informing him that George had a script with another producer. Could this be a reason for Mr. Mannix to become furious? Tony, heartbroken, witnessed firsthand the woman George was abandoning her for. Unable to bear the pain, Mr. Mannix dispatched someone to George's house, resulting in a gunshot. But did events truly unfold this way? No. These were all fragments of Simo's imagination as he searched for the ultimate truth behind the murder. Sneaking into the Mannix residence, he attempted to communicate with Mrs. Mannix, who confirmed that George had been shot. Simo pressed for more information but was swiftly discovered by the guards, leading him to confront Mr. Mannix. George received a stern warning to stay away from their home, a warning that carried a message and a menacing threat.
Go on. I'm ready.
Simo began piecing together the puzzle, but was he prepared to risk everything to uncover the truth? It was a question he was afraid to answer. The following day, Simo paid a visit to George's manager, who handed him a cassette to watch, a window into the actor's life. But what truly happened on that fateful night? Who was responsible for George's demise? Did he take his own life? Simo held the answer, but he would only reveal what he desired. Simo realized it was time to return to his family and become a better father. As the film drew to a close, Simo returned to his wife and son, transformed into a different man from the one they once knew. Burning question lingered in everyone's mind. Who killed George? We eagerly await your thoughts on this film. The comment section is open to you. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more. Thanks for watching, and see you at the next one.